Hey guys.
Hello. Hi everyone.
There's a lot of coaches on this, past coaches. I'm worried you're going to make us go all the way through. Sue, I'm looking at you.
Hello.
I don't know if
So
you heard me.
it was fun for you. So we're separated because we have to go. Hello. How are
Hi,
you?
Coach. Hi, Andrea.
All right, I just want to let everybody know that we are officially live on YouTube and being recorded. So everything you say will go onto the internet from here forward.
For eternity.
Yes, forever and ever. So I want to welcome everybody onto this incredible evening. It is the 16th anniversary of the bronze medal of the 2004 Olympic team. So give them their first round of applause this evening. And so we have a good run of show this evening, and most of it will be dedicated to the 04 team and having a conversation with them about their experience through the process of becoming Olympic bronze medalists, and also everything that they went through in the years leading up, especially as it connects to the documentary that all of you recently saw. We hope that you had a chance to see it. If you haven't and are joining, you will want to soon. I'm going to ask that everybody who is not speaking, please mute their phones. Appreciate that. But to kick us off, I see the current senior national team up in what's my left-hand corner, and I will spotlight them as I'm going to give them an opportunity from Las Vegas, as they are on a team training trip, to speak to everybody, specifically the 04 team.
Hi everyone. We're muted. Oh, we're muted. Are we muted? No, we're muted. Oh, okay. Sorry guys. Hi everyone. You can put it a little bit up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sorry for the confusion. Hi everyone, thank you Adam for introducing us. As he said, we're currently in a training camp in Vegas to escape the fires from California. But before our practice, we wanted to hop on and just tell you guys how much we appreciate you and how you inspired a whole generation of synchro. I know personally a lot of us on this team were really drawn to synchro because of your documentary and everything that you've done for the sport. It's really cool to watch you guys evolve and grow out of it into amazing adults. And yeah, just that we are really proud of you guys, always been proud of you guys, and thankful to have role models like you.
Hey, thanks team. I'm going to go ahead and give it over to Captain Lauren Gardner, just to give a shout out back to the national team.
Hi, national team. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your training to, watch our documentary and for continuing to carry the torch. I feel like carrying the torch is an unfortunate use of words right now, considering you did have to escape fires for your training. But it's amazing, to see that challenges face any Olympic national team. And they're all unique, and we hope certainly that our challenges help to inspire you as you face your own challenges individually. But we're really excited. We've been watching you through Instagram and Facebook and on the sidelines, if you will, and we're just really excited. You're a terrific group of young women, and we're enjoying the view. We're happy we're not in the pool with you. That's also part of it.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So with that, I'm actually going to send it right back over to that same Zoom account and have our head national team coach, Andrea Fuentes, speak, as she has a really unique perspective on the 04 team, right? As Andrea specifically competed against the team. And so very interesting conversations that I've had with her since she's now got a chance to watch sink or swim. I'll turn it over to Andrea to give her inside out perspective on the 04 team.
Hello, Adam. I'm on another screen than the team. It says that my name as well. I don't know if you can
I
find
got
me.
you. Coming in.
Hello.
There you go.
Hi. Yeah, as Adam said, I had lots of fun on seeing the documentary because I lived the whole experience from another point of view, which was against you, know, like honestly we were rivals at that moment. So it was very interesting for me to see how you are working because it was my first Olympics. And the last time I saw the US team, it was from home in the 96, right? So I was very honored to be able to compete against the team who inspired me, not to start being a swimmer. So I was very grateful to be in this place fighting for a medal, even if we knew that you were more powerful than us. We were anyways fighting, no, for to beat you actually, and it shocked me, the documentary. It was funny for me to see that you actually were working in the same way that we were working. The coaching staff was almost the same style. Chris Carver and Ana are almost twins. So it was funny to see the same style and remember how it's from outside, how you see it. And also on how you have the same stories as a team, no matter where you are in the world, no? And especially, I was also very interested in how you dealt with all the story with the car, with and all those difficulties as a team. I thought at the beginning you can see how you can fall up in front of this difficulty, or you can grow from it. No, and I thought it was a big lesson for the whole team to even if everything goes against, how you know you will not beat us anything against us, right? So I think it was a big lesson to learn. I also saw how was the past in the US, how trials were held with a very interesting way on making the team. I did a lot of notes, and I want to thank you because you make me have goosebumps more than twice and three times. And I enjoyed a lot the work because once you see the routine from outside, it was a wonderful choreography, but then you see the work behind. You see that we're training much more, and I learned a lot. So thank you so much, and I hope with our team we can give you also the same goosebumps that you gave us in this documentary.
That's really wonderful to hear. You know, I think it is interesting. We talk about it in the documentary that we were very aware of Spain, and obviously we actually had done a tour. The U.S. and Spain had done a tour about 2 years before the games. So we all got to know each other pretty well, and you know, I think that whole idea of your competitors are also people that you respect and that you care for.
Exactly.
You know, I think, you know, as a team, we always talked about that too. You in trials, you're competing against people who are your friends, and in the world stage that you respect. And you know, we loved competing against you. Really, it was it made us better. You know, you inspired us equally. And you know, as Chris says, you scared us a lot. But it's all, you know, very healthy, and I think it just goes to show just the camaraderie of sport, which is really, you know, one of the most powerful, magical things about being part of a team and being part of sport. And I do also, I feel like I also need to thank Cheryl for Janik, who had the idea to do a documentary on our team and our experience leading up to it. To Andrea, to your point, I think for a lot of people, you know, they just see the end result. They don't see all the work that goes into it. And that was really, I think, Cheryl, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that was what you wanted to show. And, you know, there were challenges that, you know, none of us could have foreseen. And, you know, I think Cheryl did a great job of sort of showing, you know, how we all went through that, how it affected us. You know, how challenges are a part of any kind of training, like you said, Andrea. And, you know, it's pretty special for us as a team to have this documentary that shows this very big monumental time in our lives that we can go back and look on and torture our children with watching someday. But you know, it's an honor to be sharing the documentary stage a little bit with the Spanish team, Andrea, and it's pretty incredible that you're now coaching for the US. I mean, if the universe doesn't make insane connections, you know, that's certainly one.
Yeah, it's when you think about it, it's unbelievable, no? That I'm here now, trying to do as good as you did, no? And I'm happy that I made you enjoy more the bronze medals, even if we lost. But okay. And I also have to tell you that when I saw Let's See the documentary, almost all of them told me this is the documentary who made me start synchro. So this is, I think, one of the best things you can do, no? To engage somebody that after seeing you how you work and how you achieved the things that you achieved, it makes them start a new life, no? So I think this is one of the biggest presents that you gave us. Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
So I'm going to give a second to Cheryl just to talk about the documentary real quick, about the process, and thank her specifically for being the eye behind that camera and doing everything that she did. So Cheryl, to you.
Thank you, Adam. Hi all, it's so nice to see you. Hello. Chris and the team know this story, but I was always a huge fan of the Olympics. I was watching, I think the first thing I turned on in 2000, I just was like, the Olympics are on, I'm turning it on, and synchro was the first thing that came up, and I was just totally mesmerized, and I was like, how do they do that? I don't understand. It defies all laws of physics and gravity, and it's like totally amazing. And why hasn't anyone told me about this? Because I grew up in New York and we don't have a lot of synchro on the East Coast because it's too cold. And so I was just totally captivated. I won't drown if you throw me in a pool, but I'm not a swimmer. I think Becky got me in once to try a little synchro when we were doing the tour with the film festivals, but there's no video evidence, I don't think, so we're good. So I just thought, well, this would make a great movie. Why is there no documentary about synchronized swimming? Which is how I sort of like get this bee in my bonnet about filmmaking. And I reached out to the media director then and said, I'm a documentary filmmaker. I'm based in New York. I'd love to make this film. And I thought he would be like, well, we already have a film being made about us, or no, we can't do that. And he was like, that's a great idea. And I was like, all right. And I hadn't raised any money yet. And I thought they would say no, because who calls up the Olympic team and says, can I make a movie about the Olympic team? And they're like, yes. But luckily, they had the sort of wherewithal to realize that it would be, and, I think, Andrea, what you just said was one of the most kind of rewarding things I've heard yet about the film, was that the current swimmers have seen it, and that's one of the reasons why they got into the sport. It's just fantastic. And one of the things that I had hoped the film would do is not only one, I had hoped it would show people who had never seen the sport what really goes into it, right? They're not walking on the bottom of the pool, all these things that people think are so easy. And Lauren recently was trying to explain to somebody how they used the ankle weights in training. And I was like, yeah, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they put on the ankle weights and do split rockets, and like, you try it. And so we just sort of, I thought this would be not only great for people who'd never seen the sport, but then I was also hoping, to see younger kids who had seen the movie after it came out, just totally taken by it and totally inspired by it. And Allison and I were once during the movie in Montana, and this sweet little girl, Ellie, was like head to toe decked out in sink or swim gear, and had watched it already 4 times by the time we were still there that weekend. And she just was like in it. And so there's something about, I think, as a filmmaker and documentary filmmaker, being able to capture emotion and events and kind of tie them together, and then make people feel what certainly I felt, and I think a lot of you felt as it was happening. And then hopefully to, have the end product be something that really does inspire people on all sides of the screen, and I suppose in all parts of the pool, hopefully. So that's how it happened. And it was a real honor for me to be able to be with you all to make the film, and certainly one of the highlights of my career. And it just was, I feel like, I said this, I teach documentary filmmaking too at NYU, and I sort of quote that Spider-Man quote to all my students. It's like, with great power comes great responsibility. And so I always feel like it's very important when someone lets you into their life with a camera, that you take that responsibility very seriously. And I believe I did. And I hope that shows on screen, and that translates for audiences everywhere. But I do think it was a great honor to be a part of that team and go to the Olympics, sort of. But thank you for showing the movie and for having me, Adam.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you very much, Cheryl. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing that documentary with the world. Really important to all of us. And so with that, now it is time to introduce our team. I hope that you, again, had a chance to watch Sink or Swim and got to familiarize yourself with every one of the national team members. But with that, we're going to do a whip around, and I'm going to say the first name of every one of them, try to find them on Zoom all at the same time, spotlight them, and then put them in front of you to say a few words to you specifically from them. I'm going to go out of order of the run of show because we have some people that have to leave or coming in a little bit late, but we'll make sure that everybody gets some face time. So I'm going to start with Stephanie. You're up.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Nesbitt. Now I'm Stephanie Drax. And thank you for letting me go first because I actually have to start work soon. But yeah, no, I was on the Olympic team and I was the youngest. My name was Puppy because I followed everybody my first year. And but yeah, I'm super happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, Stephanie. Allison, you are up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Bartosik, now Beaver. And I think, Adam, you asked us to share where we actually swam for. I started at a small club in Tucson Synchro. And Anita's mom was actually one of my first coaches there, which is a small unknown fact. And then moved to the Santa Clara and swam for there for 10 years. And then after stopped swimming, I coached at Santa Clara for a few years and then also at Stanford.
Awesome. Thank you. Sarah.
Yeah, so my name is Sarah Lowe, now Sarah Lilly. So I started in Texas. I swam for the Pirouettes of Texas for a number of years and then moved to Santa Clara, swam for Santa Clara for a couple of years, joined the Olympic team or made the Olympic team. And then after competing in the Olympics, about 2 weeks later, I started my freshman year at Stanford. Swam for Stanford for 4 years. We won 4 national titles, which was really exciting. Graduated, ended up coaching at Stanford for almost 10 years. Won 2 national titles as a coach, which was also very exciting. Then I married my husband and he was back in Dallas. So back to Texas I came, coached for PTX for a year and I still work with them a little bit here and there. But I've actually been hired about 6 months ago to start a new collegiate program at Texas Women's University in Denton, which is just a little bit north of Dallas. So excited to be back in the college arena. I really love college athletics, so that's where I am now.
Thanks, Sarah. Tammy, you're up.
Hey guys, I'm Tammy Crow, now to clerk. You see the theme going on here. I, like most of us, started at a small club at Clayton Shaw Park Synchronized Swim Team in St. Louis, Missouri. And my love of synchro also started by watching the 1984 Olympics, a lot like Cheryl. What are they doing? That's super cool. And I told my mom then that I was going to be in the Olympics, and she's like, all right, you don't know what you're talking about. And I kept swimming, and by the time I was 10, I was ready to kind of make the next leap. So my mom and I drove out from St. Louis to Walnut Creek, and I was on the Walnut Creek Aquanet for many years, and I coached there, and then was ready to take the next leap because we were not going to beat Andrea down over there in Spain and keep beating them without being a team and training all the time. So I went from Walnut Creek to Santa Clara, which, as many of you know, on this, they're rivals. But we were a team. We are a team, and that's the only way we kept proceeding to the gold medal was to keep training as a team. Now I am working full time and trying to get back in to help synchro, but I have 6-year-old triplets that just started distance learning, which has been amazing. We love our Zoom, right? But I'm so excited to be here, and thank you all for your support and you know, watching the documentary is, you know, brings back some good memories and some hard memories, but all in all, it makes us who we are, and together as a team is how we made it through. So I'm super excited to be here right now.
Thanks, Tammy. Triplets, good luck to you every day.
Thank you.
Kendra, you're up.
Hi, I'm Kendra Zanato. I started with the Santa Clara Aquamaids, and I was with the Santa Clara Aquamaids my whole career. I live in the Bay Area. I'm a Santa Cruz Mountain resident, so staying mountain strong right now with the fires. But I remember we saw the 1996 Olympic team, and so many of them came from the Aquamaids, and we got to like see them in the pool and be close to them for so much of my my experience as a young athlete, and it was just amazing. And I got to go with my family. We went as spectators to the Atlanta Games in 1996, and that was just the greatest celebration of sport. And my family and myself, we all became complete Olympic addicts, and I was so thrilled that I was able to continue my career, and that was the highlight of my career, the Olympics. But I'm still just the hugest Olympic fan, and so happy to be here to cheer on the next generation of athletes.
I see you accessorized well tonight with your Olympic rings necklace. Well done. Thank you. Becky, you're up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Becky Jasontek Tomsick. So glad to see everybody. This is so wonderful. I love to see all your smiling faces. I started as a Cincinnati synchro gator in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then after that, I followed my sister to the Ohio State University, where we won 4 national collegiate titles. Sarah Lowe. And after that, I decided with a few of my teammates to move across the country to Walnut Creek. So I swam with the Walnut Creek Aquanuts for several years before moving to the Santa Clara Aquamaids, just like Tammy. So ended my career there. And again, just so happy to see everyone's faces. I'm a fan of the Olympics as well.
Thanks, Becky. I see your dad's over there sporting his Buckeyes shirt for you. So
always, every day.
Yeah. He's dreaming of all those national titles.
That's right.
All right, Lauren, you are a go.
Okay, hi. I'm Lauren McFall, now Gardner. I also was a career Santa Clara Aquamaid, just like Kendra. And I definitely remember, getting to share a pool sometimes with the 96 team and doing workouts with them. But it was really cool as a young athlete to have a very clear view of what the future could look like. And they were an incredible group of athletes to watch in the pool. And so that was very exciting for me. And then, I was Aquamaid for 16 years. And then after the Olympics, I broke up with water. Except Kendra and I, fun fact, Kendra and I both went to Columbia in New York City, and we got in with a party promotion company. And so we continued our synchro career at backyard pool parties for people in the Northeast. I did take a break after I hung up my nose clip, but I recently have come back. I'm on the board for USA Artistic Swimming. And that's really been inspired. This team and the coaching staff and the leadership really have gotten me excited about, coming back to the sport and really remembering all the wonderful times that our team had and all the ways that experience enriched my life. And I want to help, bring that experience to more athletes.
Thanks, Lauren. And thanks for serving on the board. Really appreciate all the work that you do. Anna, you are up.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for letting me be late. Well, my name is Anna. I was actually born in Russia, and I have to look at myself. I guess I do. It's really big. And I came here when I was at the age of 20 because I was quite fascinated by the way American team function, and it was very different than Russian, and I sort of fell in love with American spirit. Well, all of the girls that has just went before me, they were just very young at the time I came, and took me a while to get my citizenship. So by the time they grew up, I was already in my late 20s, getting ready for the Olympics. And Allison, she's 10 years younger than me and was my duet partner. And actually, I coached Lauren. I remember when she was, were you 9 or 10? You're doing your space solo. That was funny. Anyways, but it was great to, actually have had that experience. And nowadays, I guess 30 is not an old age for synchronized swimming. It just might be when we swim. After I stopped swimming, I've continued to coach, and then when part-time coaching, went to nursing school, became an oncology nurse, which I'd done for 10 years. And now working at occupational health at Stanford as an assistant manager. We've done a lot of pandemic work. And actually I'm working on a new career now, but it's not, it'll take a while. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. All right, Andrea, you are up.
All right, I'm Andrea Knott. I am also a career aquamaid, and have a very similar story about seeing the 96 Olympians and their path very clearly, from practicing in the same pool that we were practicing in and winning a gold medal at the Olympics. It was pretty formative experience. And it just, listening made me remember the first time I went to have a solo suit made by Paula Dyran, who's in the documentary, and her daughters, Susanna and Becky, who are our idols, came down to talk to me, and I was like in awe, celebrity sighting, and it made such an impact. So I swam in the 2008 Olympics and went to Athens as the replacement athlete. So I was the just in case. So I put in 4 more years to achieve my Olympic goals, and competed in the duet and team.
Thank you. And your perspective from me watching the video, I look forward to hearing your perspective on everything, as that's a tough position that you were put in, but ultimately got you to a point where you became an Olympian. So there's a lot behind that, mentally and physically, that I look forward to tapping into soon. So be ready.
I'm ready, ready.
Yeah. And now the Queen Aquamaid herself, Chris Carver, you are on the big screen.
Okay, well, we'll tell you a little bit about Chris Carver. I play the villain in Cheryl's film, and but it was just an act, I promise you. It was an incredible experience, and Cheryl captured it beautifully. But one thing I can say about this team is something that should be motivating to you girls who are on the national team now, and that is that I think that this team getting a bronze medal was like a gold medal to me, as far as I'm concerned. They worked so hard and they were so genuine about their goals and what they wanted to accomplish. And I feel like your team is the same. And so never apologize for I'm not getting a medal or whatever. You're going to make it into the games. I am convinced. And that is your goal. And you're well on your way. You have a great coach to work with, and you have a lot of support. Like Lauren was saying, the leadership is something to be very proud of in this organization, the coaching staff, and now you have the support of all of us as well. I would say another note about Cheryl and how she was able to capture all this, I would liken her to Jane Goodall, and I don't know if you guys know who she was, but she worked with the monkeys, and the monkeys didn't even notice she was around. And that's how our monkeys were able to perform and do such a beautiful job. Throughout the whole thing, I have to give Lauren credit. She was the captain of the team, and she and I worked hand in hand. We were partners. There were things sometimes I thought that I couldn't handle and she would handle better than I, and she did that beautifully. We always talked things over. The whole team, as a matter of fact, I thought had real skin in the game, because I don't know if you guys remember, but we used to do macro cycles of goals, and we would discuss what we wanted to accomplish in that macro cycle. Then we would come back together again and decide, had we reached those goals, and did we try to do too much? Should we have concentrated more on this or that? The girls always had a say in their team, because the coach is just the person who tells them to do what they need to do when they don't feel like doing it. That was our role as coach. But they were a great team to work with. And just every time I look at the documentary, I fall in love with them all over again. I'm so proud of them. And that's it.
Thank you, Chris. All right, so now it is time for the unscripted portion of this event. And so we're gonna let the team talk. It is really free game. I just kind of gave a couple general topics for them to reference, but really what we're trying to get to is to give them open dialogue about what this whole experience was. So to set the stage, we're gonna ask them to talk about what it was like to train, how hard Chris really was on them, how great Cheryl was, all the ups and the downs that went through, everything that they then accomplished that had such a great, incredible result and impact on our country and on their lives. So I'll turn it over to the captain. Lauren, you start us off and then take it whatever direction you want to go.
All right. Well, I want to thank Chris for always, always being so articulate and having so much strength, because like we say, there were so many times when we didn't want to do the thing you wanted us to do because it was hard or it was scary, right? That's very natural. And you always had the strength to pull us out of that, sometimes uncomfortably, of course. And I'm sure we all remember there were a few moments, or maybe I would get a little heated. It's fuzzy. I don't remember those parts that well. But I think one of the things that was very cool about Chris's coaching style is that she really did emphasize each of the strengths that all of us had. And so I do want to go into, training, what trials was like, opening ceremony, the competition itself. Maybe just what I want to start off with, though, in the context of all of those things, was what does it mean to be a champion? Because the idea of winning and being a champion, all those things really start in training, right? Those were all things that we had to do as part of our training. And so I thought we could just very quickly go, I think team, you know where I'm headed. But one of the things that Chris and the coaching staff did for us was pull out each of the things that was our greatest strength and our contribution to being a champion. And they were things that we were responsible for, but also it was natural to us to contribute in our daily training. And so I thought we could just all go around and share what our strength was that informed our training, going through trials, the opening ceremony, winning the medal, representing us in the duet, and the experience of the documentary and reliving those experiences. So I'll start. The word is champions with an exclamation point. And I was the first letter. My contribution to being a champion was confidence.
All right, so the word is champions. The second letter is H, and the coaches gave me the word hard work for my contribution.
Sarah?
So the word is champions. The coaches gave me the letter, or the third letter is A. The coaches gave me the word ability, which was my contribution to the team.
And Lauren, you might want to explain the necklaces that Chris gave us too. I'm wearing mine. I'm the fourth letter. Mine is mentality, the M of champions. And my dad always told me as I was starting my sports career, even before synchro, mind over matter. And so I think that's where the mentality always came from.
Yeah, and Allison's pointing to the necklace. So Chris actually made each of us necklaces with the Olympic rings, our birthstone and then our word on the back of the necklace, so that we would always have that to remember. And I know, team, we've all talked about this as we've moved through life for the last 16 years since our swim, but there are qualities that I still love to find in people that I know and cherish of all of you. And when I'm having those tough days, remember my strength as well. Okay, next, unfortunately, Erin Dobratz McGregor could not be with us today, but she was the next letter in champions, and she was pride. And that was, you know, something that was really important to have on a daily basis to remember, you know, being proud of ourselves, being proud of our team, and being proud of what it represented to represent our country in the Olympic Games.
I think that, yes, that leads me to I was the I in champions. My word was integrity. And I think it's really important to have integrity at the pool every day. You might not want to do that whole lap of doubles from start to finish. You might not want to do all the way through again, but you have to have personal integrity to know that your teammates are counting on you. And you have to take care of yourself to make sure that you can be the best you can when you get to the pool every day, and help carry out the goal of not only yourself, but all of your teammates and your coaches as well.
Puppy, you're up.
And the O for optimism. And if anyone else was like spelling it out every time someone went, that was definitely me. That was O. Optimism. I remember that I could make anything into a 3 just to make anyone smile on some of those hard days. And ironically, we got 3rd, which is kind of funny in the end. But yeah, I tried to always bring light when we had our challenging moments. And I think that having a smile sometimes helps us kind of get through and pull together and get to the end.
Hamsters, you're up.
I'm up next.
Yeah.
Hey. So I have the letter N in champions with the exclamation point. And N stands for nerve. And when you look this up in the dictionary, it's a person's steadiness, courage, and sense of purpose when facing a demanding situation. And I think I was always before any of the accident, I always had this, you know, this demanding sense of purpose to do the very best that I could in the pool and in life. And I always wanted to make my teammates proud, my coaches proud. And, you know, I continued to have that, you know, steadiness, courage, and, you know, just sense of purpose in the pool, like throughout my career, no matter what happened. So you know, one of the things I also tell people about the champions is we each held our specific letter or word, but it also reminded us to have everybody else's letter or word as well, which is, you know, I think something that makes this team really special is that not only did they carry their own letter, but they also really wanted to have everybody else's letter too. And I think that, you know, you see that with the definitions that we have throughout our team, is that not only do we own our own letter, we also wanted to capture everyone's letter also. I think that's a pretty important part of this team.
Thanks, Tammy. Tammy was our grr. Nothing scared you, Tamsters. Okay, Anna, you're up.
So mine was the strength, and I mean, I did have to overcome a lot of things, like waiting for my citizenship for 6 years, but I couldn't swim for a team. It was hard and took a lot of emotional strength. And also, I think strength stands for, you know, get up and try one more time when you don't feel like it. Do just a little bit more than your competitor. I know in our duet, Alice and I used to come, I mean, like 10 minutes before practice and just land drill a little bit more in the parking lot doing our duet, and took some strength. And also picking up the teammates when they're down, and then picking up me as well. So again, like I like what Tammy said. It's not just our own letter. It's kind of it applies to the whole team as well.
Thanks, Anna. And our exclamation point, Andrea.
Hi. Can you hear me? I'm the punctuation. I was on the side, and I was the team's, I think I was their #1 fan. I was always there when someone had to take a little break from the pattern and come practice something on the side. I was like, I'll help, I'll do it with you. And while it was tough not to be on the competitive part of the team, it was an honor to be with them and my own way a part of the team. One thing I tell girls that I coach now is that I think it was one of the most, I learned the most maybe that year from any year of synchronous swimming, just from listening and learning and applying all the things that the team was doing to my own self, even though I was not getting coached directly. So I try to impress that on the other group. I also got to be the person that would maybe every once in a while talk to Chris and say something like, I think that one part is really great, but a little too long underwater. What do we think about maybe a little alteration? And it's just put a little note in for the team every once in a while.
Yeah, I think team, we all remember the specific section Andrea is talking about where we were all, I would call it synchronized drowning. It was brutal. And we had to convince Andrea to liaise with Chris to change it so we wouldn't drown every time we swam. All right, so thank you everyone. And I think, the point is that we all had these qualities in some way, and we were all stronger because we all got to rely on each other for these qualities. And it's just a really classic example of drawing strength from the whole rather than just having to be an individual. And it was really special about our team, I think. All right, so who wants to talk about training? What's something you remember about training? How hard was Chris on us? Anybody want to answer that?
You should call on us.
All right, I will. In fact, Kendra, I was going to call on you. So,
yeah, I had a feeling this one was coming to me. Yeah. Training was hard. It was very hard mentally and physically. We started early in the mornings. Sometimes we had to drive from one pool to another. We finished late in the afternoons. Our faces were, all synchronized swimmers know this story. Caked with Desitin and sunscreen, just exhaustion, day after day after day, and not a day or not a time where you could ever say like, oh, I'm feeling really tired today. I need to take a break so that I can be my best for tomorrow. Like maybe in some other sports you can do that. In fact, when we trained at the Olympic Training Center, we often heard that from other sports, from other athletes saying things like, oh, I think today's going to be a rest day for me because I just wasn't feeling on my time, or, whatever it was, that would just sound so absurd to us. Like, what do you mean you can do something for yourself? This is team and all team. So, we were always pushed to the max, and whether it was our strength training or, speed swimming or just, synchro laps that we would be doing. We were at all times trying to be the best we could be, which meant a lot of discomfort because that's what being an athlete is.
Yeah, just to build on that a little bit, I would say that, when I was asked to be Anna's duet partner, she alluded to this, that I was much younger, and it was a really big just ask. So being comfortable with saying yes to something that is scary, but then also the growth the day in and day out, it's so hard, but it's so worth it. And growth and change is hard, but it really just makes it so much sweeter when it's when you get to see the final product. So I totally agree. The training was brutal day in and day out, but I'm so thankful that Chris pushed us as hard as she did.
Thank you, Allison. I thought, I'm conscious of time too, but I thought it might be good to also talk a little about the trials process, because there were a lot of athletes that were part of that trials process that were really hard for all of us that didn't make it on the team. You know, we had created this pretty incredible group and we'd done a world championships together, and the documentary shows that some of those athletes were cut for the Olympic team, and it was really hard on all of us. So Becky, I thought maybe you could talk a little bit about the trials process, because you'd done the 2000 Olympic team trials, and then you also did 2004. And I remember you talking with us quite a bit about how to manage the trials process and to stay positive and how to compete against your friends and your teammates. If you don't mind, Becky, sharing a little bit about your memories of our trials.
Sure. I would probably use the word grueling, just like practice was grueling. I would say trials was emotionally grueling, because you are training with people for not just months or weeks, but I mean, we trained together our whole lives almost. I was on national teams with people that ended up being cut and swam with them at college and things like that. So it was really difficult to have your training partner not make the same goal that you've both been working for. So we started out as a big group, and not just had one trials, but we had over the course of probably about a year, had some mini trials where maybe we would pick the top two, and so that would be the duet. And then the next trials, we had about 4 or 5 more people join the team. And so it was a long, drawn out process. Totally understand why we have to do it this way, because you really have to match the people in the pool. So you could be the greatest synchronized swimmer in the world, but if you don't match the other 7 people in the pool, it just doesn't make sense. So you had to train as a group and make sure that your style of swimming matched the other people in the pool. So it was hard. When I tell people that, they're just like, oh wait, you didn't just go to a competition and then swim faster than everybody else and make the team. Like that's not how it works in synchronized swimming. So I think the emotional intelligence plays into an Olympian at that point, because you really have to stay strong and not just want something, but you have to be emotionally ready for a trials. And I think that led to being emotionally ready to be an Olympian as well.
Stephanie, I thought this might also be an interesting place for you to step in. Like you said, you were our youngest. You were 19 years old when tackling an Olympic trials. Maybe you could share a little bit about, your experience tackling this, monumental thing at such a young age.
Yeah, I'm just going to give a shout out for Stephanie. I know my voice doesn't sound anything like hers. She had to go to work because she is on Beijing time. So duty right. Calls.
Well, let's just a round of applause for Steph. She was young and she was tough, and she inspired all of us all the time. So I'll say that for her. So let's see. So opening ceremony. It's unlike anything you will ever experience. I thought maybe Sarah, maybe you want to share some of your memories of opening ceremony.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do all of this work. Like I remember doing so much work to prepare for the games mentally, right? Like we would go through so much training and talk about what is this going to be like? What is this going to be like? We were at the actual pool and the location for the pre-Olympics, and we kind of walked through what our game plan was going to be, and Chris did a really good job of just trying to throw different situations at us. But I think opening ceremonies was something that we could have talked about, but the feeling is something that you just can't prepare for. We sat in a huge, people will say, what was opening ceremonies like? We actually didn't see a lot of it. We weren't in the stadium. We were in I think we were in the gymnastics venue, and we watched it on a big screen. But you're also surrounded by all these other countries and these other athletes, and you're talking to them and you're wanting to learn, about what they're doing and how their training was. So you're not really watching a lot of what's going on. And then we got out on a bus, and then we waited in line, and then we finally got to walk in the stadium. And I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's overwhelming. And we walk through the tunnel, and you just see flashes, and you see American flags. And I mean, it's just, it kind of hit me then that, oh my goodness, like this is real. This is really the Olympics. It's not, you know, because we had kind of had a mindset of it's just another competition, right? Like it's just another thing we're going to, like we've been to world championships, Pan Ams, World Cups, all that. Like it's just another one. And in that moment, I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is not just another one. Like this is everything that we've sacrificed for and worked so hard for, and our families have moved for, and all of these things. So, you know, you look back on it and you think it was such a great experience. It happened so fast. I wish I could go back and relive it, because I think I would try to soak more of it up. But yeah, it's like nothing you can ever imagine or prepare yourself for.
Yeah, lots of tears. I remember that. So Tammy, I'm sorry, I'm putting everyone on this. Just so everyone knows, I've not told anyone what I'm asking them. I'm thinking of this on the fly. So kudos to the team so far for fielding all of these surprise questions. But Tammy, I thought it'd be fun. I feel like Tammy was always sort of our sort of ambassador. She just was totally fearless and would like meet any athlete and talk with anyone. Maybe Tammy, you could talk a little bit about like the village and, you know, trying to stay focused during training and just kind of that, you know, being at the games, like kind of what did that feel like for you?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, in terms of fearless, yes, of course, you know, that happens in the pool and out of the pool. You know, Chris would say, could you just flip around maybe like 10, 15 times and then slam down on your stomach as hard as you can? I'm like, sure, got it. Pain, fine, we're good. So yeah, the village. I think one of the coolest things about the village, and this is something like with Sarah, I share a lot when people ask about the experience, is the cafeteria. So in the cafeteria, you can run into any athlete from any country, and you have Yao Men, who's like 3 feet taller than me. And then you have, you know, on the other side of that spectrum, some little tiny gymnast running around who looks like they're 6.5, even though they're really 13. So you could really run into anyone. And we had some awesome experiences just really living that part of the Olympic experience and just trying to get as much information about other people, because you're in, you know, like we were all talking, you're in your bubble, and we were training and we focused on training and we really wanted to do everything we could to be our very best. And so when you're in that bubble, you don't know what's going on outside in any other realm. And it was a really cool experience to know that other people had suffered, given up, barely made it, didn't make it the last 2 years, and we're gonna do it this time. And we saw field hockey players and gymnasts from all over the country, you know, all over the world. And we, you know, I feel like as a team really engaged those people and wanted to learn about what they were doing and how they got there, and to really just carry that Olympic spirit all the way through. And it was really fun to see what people ate too. It was kind of fun. You know, you'd have, you know, the Chinese team getting stuff from the Italian food buffet, you know, and then there was a McDonald's there that had no registers. You didn't have to pay for the food there, which is kind of weird when you walk by there, but none of us went there until after we were done competing. Tomorrow we would have gone there. And we finally ordered our you know, our peanut butter parfaits or whatever we ordered at McDonald's. But I think that was one of the most exciting, you know, parts of being in the village, is just being a part of that Olympic community and knowing that there's so many people out there, and the cool stories that got them there too was, you know, totally inspiring. I think to just live that part of the Olympic experience was extremely amazing. I don't know, I'm sure I'm missing like 5 other things. The other thing I usually have hanging in my office is an Olympic flag that we went around, all of us had our Olympic flags, and we went around and got as many people to sign as we could. And it's a cool reminder of those things, like those people that you met, and the stories that you heard, and the stories of all the different athletes that were there and how they got there and how they persevered. You know, it's truly amazing. But that was for sure, the cafeteria was one of my favorite parts of the village itself.
Totally. And I feel like, you know, in thinking back, I do want to thank you for letting us throw you around all the time, because
anytime.
Yeah, we really put you through.
I could probably only do like 1 or 2 these days instead of like 12 or 15, but we can still do it.
Yeah. Sorry about all those belly flops that we put you through. So lastly, I wanted to get to the competition. And I think, you know, our duet had a very unique position in that they really had to start this off for us. You know, there was a lot more pressure on the duet than even the team. They were just the two of them. And Sarah, of course, was our alternate and was a big part of that process. But they had to open it up. They competed first. And I remember very clearly being very grateful that it was Anna and Allison that were doing that, because they were just two of the strongest, most impressive, articulate, solid people I've ever met in my life. And they obviously crushed it and helped set us up for our team swim. So, Anna and Allison, maybe you could talk a little bit about what the competition was like, the duet and the team. I don't know which one of you wants to go first, but.
Go ahead, Anna, you can kick us off.
Okay. Well, the duet was kind of the bronze medal was a surprise for us, because we knew we were fourth all the way up to the Olympics at every world competition. And at some point, I remember Allison and I just talked and said, you know what, it doesn't matter what place we're going to get, we're going to train like we're going to get a medal. And I think because Allison's also very steady, and they're steady, we just keep going and just working on synchronization, and we had a good routine, and just it's consistency. And in the end, that's what won for the bronze medal for us. And it was just like one of the best surprises, I think, for both of us in our lives when we saw that number 3 flash up there. So that was, that's what I remember.
Yeah, I totally agree. As Anna said, we were ranked 4th going in, but we actually, I think also, in addition to all the hard work, some little bit of luck. We were the last draw for the tech duet. And so some athletes might have been freaked out having to wait for all of the duets to swim, but for us, it was an opportunity. And so like really your outlook totally matters, but we had the chance finally to not swim before Spain in the technical routine, but after them. And when we actually saw the scores pop up on the screen and seeing the 3rd place, it was just such a magical like moment of joy. And I know that Chris actually has that photo in her kitchen still today.
Yeah. It was pretty magical to watch, getting goosebumps remembering that. But thank you, duet, for cracking open the bronze medal for us.
Lauren, I just got a really Lauren, I got a question from Sue, if she could add a little anecdote from about the duet.
Do you have to unmute yourself?
Am I good? Okay. They had a hard go. There were some really good duets. They were going in 4th. Everything was against them. But, Chris, I just got to say to you, the choreography on both of the routines, but especially the free, was a piece of art. And the other people were doing, I don't know what they were doing. They were splashing around and doing interesting, maybe not so interesting, really well executed stuff, and really synchronized and really high. But the difference, and I've recently watched, say within the last 10 years, that duet, it's amazing. Because those athletes were able to pull it off. And I don't think either number 1 or 2 could have swum that routine as well as they did. So I just didn't want that to go unnoticed, that the routine was really good for a lot of different reasons, but the choreography on all the routines that were entered was amazing.
Thanks, Sue. I guess building on that, I feel like especially in our duet, but also in our team, you know, we really tried to play to our strengths. And like, I think to what you saw as a viewer is that we stood out. We didn't look like everyone else. And that was a very calculated, you know, methodical decision that Chris made with us through the choreography process. So thanks for highlighting that.
Yeah.
Adam, do you have any other questions, or should I put more of the teammates on the spot?
You keep going, and I put in the chat if anybody wants to ask any Q&A questions, go ahead, put them there. If we have time, we'll ask them. We are at 3 minutes after 6, but hey, we're having enough fun. Keep it going, Lauren.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, team, is there anything you think I'm forgetting that would be of interest, or an anecdote you want to share, or something about training, or seeing the documentary, you know, after the Olympics?
I was gonna say, oh, sorry. I was just going to talk about you, but.
Go ahead. As long as it's nice.
One thing I wanted to say is that to the athletes, especially, that trust your coach, even in the times when, I know Chris was pushing us so hard. I know there were days where I could not feel my arms. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to sculpt with my ears. I mean, I have one big one, one small one, so but that doesn't help much. But it was to the point where it was like I can not feel my arms for days. But the thing is, when we got to the Olympics, sometimes you don't feel your arms because you're so nervous. You have so much adrenaline. That's what happens at the end of the routine, and that practice and just really trusting your coach and going with it no matter what is, I think, what got us our success. Okay, Chris, go.
I forgot what I was going to say, but I will add something to that, in that these girls were tough, and it paid off in many ways. And I can give you a couple of examples. I don't know if you guys remember in Barcelona when there were political problems between Spain and the United States, and we were not particularly welcome in that. Spain was really, really, really good and really could have taken us down. And I remember when you guys walked on and there was some booing. I don't know if you remember that. And all of you stomped your foot and stood up straight, and I knew you were going to have a beautiful swim. Same thing in the Olympic Games. The music went off for the Russians, recall that? And you were to swim right after that. And I kind of wondered, not really wondered, I knew how you would handle it, but you handled it with such grace and dignity and didn't miss a beat because you had trained so hard. You were ready for almost anything. I do have to add to our girls, I hope we haven't scared them, our national team, although I think they're pretty tough cookies too. You had a lot of fun. You made an Aflac commercial. You swam on the Letterman show in the streets of New York. You know, we had a lot of fun. And sometimes that, you know, gets glossed over when you're talking about how hard training is. But we had a lot of fun, I think.
We did. Humor definitely played a big part in our success. And I also was just remembering, Tammy, you actually texted us a picture of this recently. Every single day, Chris would make a piece of paper with a quote or something inspirational, an anecdote or something, and then an agenda for the day. So every single day we had a very clear plan, which when you're thinking about training for a long time, being able to break it up into sort of daily goals was really, really helpful. I know for me as an athlete. And I think, Tammy, didn't you text us a picture of the one recently that was the day before we left for the Olympics, I think, right? You still have it?
Yeah, I have a bunch of those. I might have texted that.
Yeah, I just was remembering that, you know, I think there was sort of daily inspiration or daily jokes or something every day that.
Yep. Yeah, a quote or something to make us stronger. And I think too, you know, we always had in our sights what Russia or Spain or Japan or anyone else below us was doing, and always kept that in our sights as we were training. And if we were going to give up for doing it one more time or not making it to the pool, we were giving up our goals and our dreams. And we certainly weren't going to do that for ourselves, but we certainly weren't going to let that happen to our team. And I, when I think about training and how hard it is, I really think about like that drive that we had to get not just to the podium, but to the gold medal, and to really look at what the strengths were of those people ahead of us and bring that into our team as much as we could, figure out what our strengths were and make those even better. And I think, breaking those little pieces down like we did for the people ahead of us and the people behind us, and to try and bring that into our team, and then just make our team and our individuals better, really helped drive us to, get us to the Olympics, get us on the podium. We always had that in our mind, and the coaches always had that in their mind. And I think that made those hard days so much better. We were there together, and we all knew that we weren't going to give up on ourselves or each other, whether it was a coach or an athlete, and we did little things every day to make that happen. But I think having that perspective of what's in front of you and what's behind you, and just trying to do your very best in everything that you do, one little thing at a time, I think that helps you get through those hard days, and, remember the fun times during the hard days.
Lauren, I wanted to add something. Okay. I just remember as a team always feeling so supported. We had an incredible support, whether it was family or our clubs or our other coaches and assistant coaches. And I think that's me reflecting on that makes me think that I hope that we can be that for this team too. And our parents were so committed. Our coach, Michelle's here. Hi, Michelle. Was so committed, and Nancy and Linda, everyone who worked with us was there for us. No one was there for selfish reasons. And so I feel like this is a good call and reminder for all of us to, like, as much as we can, team, we're there for you, even if we're nowhere close to Moraga or Vegas, just to really know that we're your support.
Lauren, can I add something? So, I think kind of going back to the very beginning of the call, and a little bit of what Kendra said about our support staff and our families and whatnot, people would ask, was Chris really hard? And I would say, well, yes, she was very hard. She had very high standards. But I think there was also a very fine balance of the team that surrounded her, and Chris and Nancy and John and Dr. Dawn and everybody, they all played off of each other so well. So when we had a really hard day with her and she was just pushing us past what we thought, but she knew we could do, they might pull back a little bit, and they'd provide that extra support of, hey, just saying one little thing, hey, you guys, you got it, right? Okay. So I think she always knew the exact line to walk. I think she was extremely gifted in that way. She was an amazing coach, where she would know just enough, how to push us just to that limit, and then pull back when she saw, like, okay, maybe this is enough, maybe they've got it. And I think for me, and I think I can speak for the team, I've carried that into my career and into my personal life. And when I went back to business school, people would say, aren't you tired? Don't you want to sleep? Like, aren't you exhausted? And I would say, this is nothing. Like, I'm capable of so much more than what I know. Like, I can do this, right? And I don't think we all realize it until we left and, got a little bit older and have entered different parts of our lives, how lucky we were to have that experience of someone who was able to teach us, like, yes, I'm going to push you, and yes, things will be very difficult, but you can do it. And I'm going to show you that you can until you can believe in yourself. So just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I think that's so well said. I mean, I know, Chris, you're still the best boss I've ever had.
Boss I've ever had too.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us feel very lucky to, have swam for Chris, quite frankly, and Chris assembled a group of aquamaids, a coaching staff, training staff, any resource she could get her hands on to support us, she did that. And so we always knew that, and even on those days that were tough, pennies from heaven, inside joke. I know. But we always knew, Chris, we knew you had us, and you still do. I still call you for advice, and I still call you and want to hear your perspective. And so Sarah, I'm glad you brought that up in Country too. And it's just more of an example of just how great this team is. It's been fun to hear everyone's perspective. I've missed everybody.
I'm going to jump in really quick.
Thing, if that's okay. Oh.
Yeah, there's never going to be enough time, so I wanted to give it to you for parting shots. And whoever wants to start, it sounds like Andrea wants to start, so go ahead.
I just want to
wrap it up. Go.
Shout out to team captain Lauren. It's no small feat to be supporting your teammates, leading your teammates, contributing and building so much the teammate culture while you're also training for the Olympics yourself. She's lifting up our whole team while also training herself. I feel like she's a big part of my personal synchro success and our team's success. And a great friend.
Thanks, Trey. I appreciate that.
Don't stop talking now. I think that there's some more comments to be made. I don't want to cut this short. We'll give it 5 more minutes.
I'll go ahead and go. This is Becky again. I just wanted to again thank Cheryl for making the documentary. It's going to be really interesting watching that with my son one day. Haven't showed him just yet. He's not ready for it yet, but it's just a really great little glimpse into our journey together. So just wanted to give another shout out. And we all thought it was really crazy that she wanted to film us because nobody was really interested in synchronized swimming at that time. So we all thought it was a little strange, but we're super, super excited that you could put our journey together for the world to see.
All right. I'm taking last shots. Tammy came off of mute. So got something, Tammy?
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, she, I think in the beginning, it was a little nerve-wracking for Cheryl and for all of us, right? But I mean, she was literally our team shadow and was at every major turning point of our team experience. And the time that her and the crew put in is kind of unbelievable. I mean, the amount of footage they have on our team is that just ended up on the cutting room floor. I mean, it was amazing to see their dedication to our team and her dedication to our team and to our sport. And I think it's an amazing, not only, for our team, but for our sport. You heard the national team, and I know so many people that, were barely in synchronized swimming and watched the documentary, and that's what they wanted to do. And I think that shows the type of work that she did. I mean, it's an amazing piece and covered all aspects of our sport. And I think it's amazing. And I, like Becky said, I'm really thankful to have that piece as a part of our journey, but also in the sport too. It's a pretty cool piece for the sport. So anyway, I'm thankful for everybody on this team. I would have never made it through without you guys, and I'm just so thankful.
Hey, I want to personally, and on behalf of USA Artistic Swimming, thank each and every one of you. Not only did this documentary inspire and this team inspire this call tonight and this effort that we put in over the last couple of weeks, and we'll continue to do. People can watch the video until September 3rd, but you inspired a generation. You heard it from our national team, which I wasn't even aware of until tonight. And equally important for me is that I learned a lot from you guys, and I recognize now what made the 04 team as special as the 04 team was. And so I'm sure that everybody on this call, everybody that's joining us on YouTube, feels a lot of the same for you. And I hope that we opened up the eyes of some other young athletes to what it takes to not just be an Olympian, not just be Olympic medalists, but to put in the effort, put in the work, and what it can do for you as a human long term, because so many of you have gone on to great things outside of the pool and in the pool as coaches and beyond since. So thanks to each and every one of you for this. And Lauren McFall, I want to tell you that there's a gold medalist on YouTube doing shout outs for you. So I think his name's Gabe. But just want to get one last one in there. Any more words from the 04 team?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, parting shots at the 04 team, and everybody on this call wants to get off of mute right now and give them a shout out. Thank them. A round of applause. Now is your opportunity.
Happy anniversary, guys.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you all so much. I hope that we get to connect in person with all the 04 Olympians and each other soon. You take care. Hope to see you. Thanks.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.